Hello there, we'll be diving into consumers' minds and the tension between me versus we. Now, both are incredibly tailored. They help ease anxiety, but where they differ is one is individual and one is collective. And this is where the tension lies. Let's first look at me and what that means to consumers. Now, success for previous generations could have been defined as having a lot of money in the bank, but today's consumers just want to live debt-free. The reason for this, 80% of them still are carrying debt today, especially early adult households. And a lot of that has to do with school. Despite this, 36% say that their school wasn't even worth it. They wouldn't have paid that money if they were to go back and redo it over again. So this is a big shift that has educational institutions shaking in their boots. On top of that, another institution that's being challenged is religious institutions. Christianity as a default is now gone. Just because your parents believed in one set of values doesn't necessarily mean the younger generations will follow in their footsteps. And we've seen this manifest itself in the fact that a third of young millennials and Gen Z have no religion. On top of that, unaffiliation has dramatically been on the incline. The last institution I'll talk about is political institutions, because Gen Z and millennials are pushing back against these as well. They don't like the competitive atmosphere that the parties create, and they don't want their identity affiliated with one single party. They want to define themselves. They want more flexibility in their lives. Organized institutions like political parties, religion, and even educational institutions are all about like-minded individuals coming together. They all have a shared value and belief system. But today, we're seeing a shift with consumers. Instead, living in more urban, diverse areas, they're getting exposure to different types of people, different viewpoints, different backgrounds and experiences. And because of that, they're pushing towards less formal commitment and instead, more flexibility. So you may be asking yourself, what's replacing these institutions that we know and many of us love? Well, for many, it's personal self-care. I'm talking life coaches, wellness retreats, meditation, fitness boot camps, and yes, even astrology. And if you're a little bit skeptical, hold on, I'll describe why this is happening. $42 trillion is what the wellness and self-care market is valued at. And astrology and wellness and coaching have a large part in this. We've seen custom astrology where brands are taking inspiration from astrological charts to integrate them into their products and services. 40% of American women are reading their horoscope at least once per month. So this by no means is a minority group. And if you're looking at millennials specifically, 50% of them do, regardless of gender. One app that's really capitalized on this is Sanctuary. So this app has your daily horoscope, but unlike most horoscope apps, you actually can access a live person to give you a live reading, personalized and tailored to you within the comfort of your own home. On top of this, appified self-care is rampant everywhere. It's not just within astrology, it's within a lot of other different industries as well. Meditation being one, and Calm is one of the most popular apps in this category. Calm has seen a 277% increase in users. On top of that, they're about $150 million in revenue, not only with meditations, but also with meditative music and sleep exercises, even from celebrities like Matthew McConaughey. Dynamic coaching is also a part of appified self-care, where consumer coaching is becoming ever more popularized, but not just for working out, for things like skincare routines and even how to get a better sleep. Life coaching is predicted to grow year over year by 6.7%. And related to this, we also see alternative gyms opening up, where traditional gym spaces are being revamped with alternate exercises, whether it's for your mind or facial exercises. And we've seen boutique gyms growing about 121% over 2013 to 2017. Consumers are using life coaches, fitness coaches, mental coaches, and even astrology as a much-needed reprieve from the stressors they have politically, socially, as well as financially. And while the 90s and 2000s were all about these amazing tech innovations, how fast can we go, how great can we make our products, now is the time when consumers are slowing down. It's a look inward rather than outward. How great can we make ourselves instead of just the products we're using? Now, the opposite side of the mind is, of course, the we. It's the collectivism within us. We've never lived in such a unique time where things can go viral, where we can have shared experiences with everyone all over the world at the exact same time. And that has a lot to do, obviously, with the internet, which has now surpassed television in terms of media viewing. And Netflix plays a big role in this. Not only have they expanded to 190 countries in just 7 years, but this marks the first year where their international revenue actually dwarfs their domestic revenue. This is all intentional by Netflix. They've created regional content for 17 local markets, including these two shows, The Rain from Stockholm, Sweden, but also Kingdom from Korea. The one thing that these two shows have in common, though, is they were created for a local community, and they're in that language, but they're actually global phenomenons, and a lot of people are loving them. The reason for this is that value is migrating to social connection, consumer creation, and of course, more on-demand products and services. While we all used to sit around the same TV, watching the same show in the same language at the exact same time, now we have more flexibility. We have more connection to other people in other parts of the world, which describes why this video is the most viewed music video in 24 hours. With about 76 million views, it's pretty substantial. And it's by a little band called BTS, a K-pop band. Now, K-pop stands for Korean pop, and it's been trending upwards over time, not just in Korea, but all over the globe. And we've seen this with K-pop expansion, where brands are leveraging K-pop celebrities to connect better with consumers. One of the most successful examples of this is probably K-beauty. If you see Korean on the label of a skincare line, people know it's good, and it has inherent quality associated with it. Similarly, we've seen a 911% increase in kawaii imagery from Japan. Things like these cute little characters you see on the screen. My favorite example of this is Gudetama. So he's created by the founders of Hello Kitty, Sarnio, and he's part of a factoid of little kawaii characters called Kimo Kawaii, roughly translated into gross cute. Now, he is a global brand with all sorts of cute products that are out there, but also a few pretty gross ones. It's all part of an initiative called Cool Japan, where the government is looking to spend over $500 million in the next 20 years to further things like kawaii imagery, like Gudetama, but also things like anime. How can they push their culture out globally as a product? And lastly, gastro-diplomacy. Something that the government of Thailand is employing in many parts of the world, opening up Thai restaurants because the way to someone's heart is through their stomach. You can visit these amazing Thai restaurants that are super authentic, even in places where there's not a huge Thai population. This all has to do with soft power, the ability to shape preferences and appeal through attraction. The currency of soft power is actually culture. So what does this mean for our future? Well, next year, the US could lose the crown of the world's largest economy. And shortly after that, they lose it to China, they will lose it to India. So our world in 2030 looks drastically different than it does today. With China in the #1 spot, we have India in second place, and then the US at third, unlikely to ever hit #1 again. Now, this means we have to change the way we think about how we're communicating our products and even what products and services we're creating. And China's someone who's taking this very seriously when it comes to their soft power strategy. As Xi Jinping said, they want to make China a socialist cultural superpower, and they want to increase the soft power globally. And to do this, they're spending about $10 billion per year on soft power campaigns. The future of global tribes, what does that mean for your brand? Well, it's about thinking global and targeting local. Minority markets have $3.9 trillion in buying power. On top of that, it's about consumer creation and connection. For example, DeWalt actually saved $6 million by creating an innovation platform and community for their consumers, where they could weigh in and really hear what their consumers were thinking and feeling. The last one is brands on demand. 45% of consumers say that they'll switch companies if a brand doesn't actively anticipate their needs. So how are you getting there before your consumers do? In this module, we explored me versus we. Individualism versus collectivism. And before I wrap up, I have a few more workshop questions for you on consumers' minds. How can your brand personalize an experience to help consumers better understand the world they live in and themselves? And which of your products, services, or experiences has the most global appeal? Why is that? How can that be replicated? Thanks for joining us for this course on unpacking consumer behavior. We covered some of the shifts going on in today's world that you need to be aware of. And hopefully I gave you a great toolkit with the trend tensions to spot white space opportunities for your brand. Because it's so easy to miss those small changes, but taking a course like this is the first step to really understanding what we need to know for the future and how to get there before our competitors do. Because disruption is either something that happens to you or it happens because of you. Thanks again for watching, and if you need any more resources, just follow the links below.